What it do, people? My name is Jordan, otherwise known as Struggling to Fly, and before we begin, I want you to remember these two words while listening or watching this video. Memory and voice. Remember that. Now, at about 36 seconds, the video will begin, and I will ask 10 close friends and family members 2 simple questions. First question, what do you think of when you look up at the clouds? And the second question, how/when did you find out that clouds weren't solid? After all is said and done, I'll explain everything in the point of the video. Thanks again, hope you enjoy. Mimi, good morning. Well, it's a little late. Hello?
No, it's not. It's just 7:30. How you doing?
I'm doing good, Mimi. Do you got like 10 minutes? Okay. I want to ask you 2 quick questions. Is that okay?
Okay, baby.
And it is okay if I record these? Okay. All right, so the first question is, what do you think of the clouds when you look up at them?
Heaven. Beautiful. It looks beautiful, Jordan.
That's fair. I'll let it hear it. Okay. And then the second question, what and/or how did you feel when you found out the clouds weren't solid?
I don't know if I really ever got into thinking of. I never thought about that, Jordan. I never really thought about it.
Solid rain.
What do you mean by that?
You said, what do I mean by that?
Yeah.
Besides shade, because, clouds are shade. They give you shade. I mean by that, that's water that's just stuck together pretty much and it's solid.
Okay. I bet.
No kind of way.
Did you already know, or you just didn't care?
Didn't care.
Thing I think about is definitely angels in the sky. I think about peace. They're very peaceful, calming to me. Are you recording me?
Okay, y'all remember in the beginning when that disclaimer? See, I didn't get to ask my sister that because as soon as she answered, we started arguing and I forgot to ask her. Anyway, back to the video. Yes.
I know it. How you always gotta record me, bro? Outside. I think about joy, honestly. Like clouds bring me a lot of peace. Unless I see a thunderstorm, then I think about rain.
Okay, that's fair.
I guess you could say it depends on how the clouds look. Do they look lovingly or do they look like they're gonna bring me rain? Does that make sense?
That makes sense. No, that's valid. I fuck with you.
I didn't know that.
Jazz, what do you mean?
Oh, because there's just air. There's just perspiration, right?
It's just like water, basically.
I was a little kid when I found that out. I felt like that wasn't like a surprise. Some clouds you can see through them, almost, all translucent looking.
Okay, that makes sense.
Well, I think of clouds when I look up at them.
Yes.
Oh, well, I have usually 2 lines of thinking. One is I generally look at it like one day those clouds will witness something that we will no longer exist for. Like it's a long-standing kingdom that can never be gone necessarily, unless the atmosphere is gone. And then the second line of thinking I have is, ooh, that looks good to drink.
Okay. That's actually pretty interesting. Oh, I bet.
I felt, I would say I felt, when I found out clouds weren't solid, I felt like my ego was stroked because it confirmed everything I already thought.
So you knew that they weren't interesting. Okay.
What do I think of clouds when I look up at them?
Yes.
I'll give really like mysterious, like in how you, I don't know what the word is. Anyways, mysterious answers. I'll just say dreams. Lied to, for sure. Like, what do you mean clouds aren't solid? Like, as a kid, I didn't recognize what that. Like, that doesn't make sense to me.
No, what I'm saying is when you found out that they weren't solid.
Yeah, that was awful. It was an awful realization. Like, I was lied to. Like, I thought they were solid. So.
Okay, bet.
Why would that not be a thing that everybody just knows, that clouds are not solid, but we think they're solid? So, I don't know. Right?
No, that's valid. That makes sense.
I feel like kids think they're... Maybe I was alone in that. Maybe other kids didn't think the clouds were solid.
I thought they were
solid.
I thought they were when I was a kid, yeah. And then I found out, like...
Yeah, did you ever think clouds were solid? Oh, okay, well, Marceline's different, so...
She thought they were solid or no?
She didn't think they were ever solid because she's smart.
Oh, annoying.
She used her brain, like, unlike me.
What do I think of clouds? You know, sometimes I think, like, I have had the thought that, maybe we all feel like when we're looking up that there's people that have passed on, looking back at us. I don't know. I say we, but I feel like, everyone looks up and is like, oh, my cousin's in heaven or something. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. Even in a vague sense, if I don't entirely believe in the concept of heaven, when I look up, I am thinking about people I love, usually. And the clouds are also, like, they share a space in my mind with, like, the moon, in that, like, when I feel really distant from people, the thing in this, like, the moon and the celestial movements that are happening in the sky, it's like a connector between me and the people I feel furthest from. Because it's like, no matter what, we're always under the same moon, we're always inevitably under the same, I don't know. Is this answer any good?
That's fine. No, you're good, bro. That's a solid answer.
I guess, like, when I was a kid, I thought that, like, I thought they were, like, puffy, like, how cotton balls are. Like, I thought they were not, like, completely solid, but a little more dense. And then when I think I didn't feel played, because when I got in an airplane and I saw a cloud from the top, I was like, oh, yeah, okay, that's why we can just pass through them. Oh, so I guess I never thought about it.
No, that's actually funny, because I didn't fly until I was like 13. So, like, by that point, I already know, okay, that's valid. I fuck with it.
No, that's because when I was a kid, like, I went to Honduras and stuff with my parents, like my family and shit. Like, when I was a child. So I have, like, memories of my first time on a plane or whatever. Landing in San Pedro Sula. Terrible place.
I wish I was there, among the clouds. I wish I could freely fly and not worry about falling. I wish I could be a part of them. Still not believing that they aren't. I don't see how they're not. So, I mean, I know scientifically that they are not, but I don't think of them in that sense, because I don't want to take away. It takes away from your imagination. It takes away from it, and I don't want it to take away from me.
That's it?
Yeah, they're very far away. They seem attainable, but not really. And they're always moving. How did I feel when I found out clouds were solid? It kind of added more allure to them than they did like disappointment to me.
About how peaceful and just like floaty and soft, and that's how I want my life to be. I don't think I think I always knew that they weren't solid. I don't think I ever realized. No, I knew that they weren't solid. I never had that realization.
Really? That's okay. That's interesting.
Like, doesn't everyone know? Like,
no, when I was a kid, I thought clouds were solid, and I wanted to lay
really?
on them. Yeah.
Okay.
What do I think of clouds? When I look at the clouds, I like to imagine what it's like being inside of them, as if they were like solid and like cushiony. I know if I was actually inside of them, I'd fall through and get wet. But I always like to imagine what the inside of clouds look like. How that they weren't?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess I didn't... The way I found out was through an episode of Avatar Bender.
Valid.
They were in the desert. They were dehydrated as hell. And then they were like, oh, clouds! And then Aang flies. Like, he soars through and it was only like one or any little clouds. So he takes like their canteen. He's up there and he like zooms through them and like water bends them into the canteen. He comes back down. And he's like, I can only get a little bit. Like, it's just too dry around here. And a little bit of water. I'm like, what? I was like, as a kid, I was like, I didn't know that's how clouds move. And I was like, that's crazy.
No, that shit.
So, I guess I was more shocked at learning it than like, oh, solid. Like, you can't. I was just like, oh, that's kind of cool. That it's actually just water.
If you've made it here, you're curious because you probably want to know my answer to the two questions and why I made this video. Don't worry, I got you. First off, the reason I made this video is because of my granny on my mother's side. She passed away in 2020, and no, it wasn't from COVID. She built different, but she lost a much more difficult battle. And what I think about is the J. Cole song Crunch Time, where he says,
fuck what they talking, it ain't like life come often. Only thing worse than death is a regret-filled coffin. So try before you die or always wonder what if.
What is a regret I have in my life? One of my biggest regrets is never answering or picking up the phone to talk to my granny. Back in the day, she used to call me at least 2 times a month just to check up on me. But I was young, Call of Duty was in its peak, and I just didn't feel like talking. I maybe answered around 5 of her phone calls out of the hundreds of times she called me, and she would always leave me voicemails, which I would listen to some days after she called. Sometimes I would just delete them though because I was annoyed. Sadly, I can never listen to those voicemails again, and my granny's voice in my memory is slowly fading. Remember what I said the theme of this video is, memory and voice. It truly breaks my heart that I can never hear her voice again, but the memories will always be there. I made this video specifically to immortalize my grandmother's voice, Mimi, on my father's side, and to provide an example to others. It takes less than 30 seconds to text someone and just check up on them, and even less time to call them. If they don't answer, leave a voicemail or just try again some other time. I get it, we all busy and got all kinds of stress going on, especially nowadays, but I ask anybody who is watching or listening to pick up the phone and just check up on somebody. You have no idea how impactful it could be to their day. A simple question such as, what was the last album you listened to, or what TV show are you watching right now, could open somebody up like a flower. I'd be hitting up random people I ain't spoke to in years just because. Now that's mostly because I'm nosy, but still, you get the point. Now, if you didn't catch it during the video, I'll answer both of the questions right now. My answer to the first question is that I wish I could fly. I wish I could fly up to the clouds, take a nap, chill on them, build a home, just like on some One Piece Skypiea type shit, honestly. My answer to the second question is that I found out that clouds weren't solid while I was in school. I believe I was in 2nd or 3rd grade, and we were learning about the cycle of water and precipitation. But I just remember arguing with the teacher and not agreeing with what she had to say. I truly believed that clouds were solid.